What's up everybody and welcome back to another episode of 5 cool mods for Skyrim Special Edition. I've made a lot of these at this point, you guys know how the intro goes, so let's just get right into it. So the first mod I do want to show you guys is Seasons of Skyrim. So this is going to have a little bit of a niche audience. I don't think everyone's going to love this mod. Regardless, basically what this is going to do is a springtime overhaul for Skyrim. So that meaning in a lot of areas you're going to see either a lot less snow or little to no snow because, well, Skyrim's now going to be in spring. When you actually read the mod description, it makes it seem like the game's going to transition from spring to winter, or rather winter to spring. That's not actually the case. After installing this mod, it will just be spring everywhere. I just wanted to give that disclaimer because when I was using it, I was a little bit confused. Regardless, again, it's going to add in a lot more foliage, some trees. It's going to make things feel a bit warmer, and all around it's supposed to make the cities a lot greener. Even when looking at the mini map, you could totally tell, okay, there's no more snow here. It just makes everything look and feel a lot different. Again, some people are going to like the snow. I'm actually kind of on that side of things, but I figure there's definitely a good time to change up your game. Maybe you're just sick and tired of running through the snow, watching the snowstorms, etc., and you want some green in your game. Well, this is going to be the mod that's going to do that, and actually does it pretty performance friendly. I didn't notice any real lag or anything like that when installing this mod. So next up we have the FurArmorSet. Basically what this is going to add in is a bunch of different fur pieces of, I guess you could call it armor, but it really is more clothing into the game. So the pieces it adds in are a hat, a poncho, 2 types of gloves, boots, a muffler, which is kind of just going to be something around your neck, earmuffs, a shoulder cape, which is going to just be kind of a cape that only goes on your shoulders. It's kind of weird, but regardless, the last thing you'll get is just a normal coat. So all these are going to come in 7 different styles, so that'll be kind of be like that leopard print, white, black, gray, etc. So if you're not using a springtime overhaul for Skyrim, this is definitely going to be a mod for you, especially for female characters. It just seems very fitting for that style of character. I actually really like some of the coats this adds in. I think they look very cool, as well as some of the ponchos. Just having the fur on you does work pretty well, although for some different armors in the game it will clip, like the armor I'm using right now, but actually some of the vanilla armors it doesn't clip at all, so you could actually wear like a poncho over your existing armor if you want your character to look and feel a little bit warmer. Pretty good for something like Frostfall or anything like that. Regardless, all around a pretty cool mod. I like how it kind of aesthetically makes minor changes, so you could mix and match each of these pieces. Like if you only want to use earmuffs and a hat, you could do that and just use your regular armor also. So up next we have Boss Encounters of Skyrim. So this is going to basically add a bunch of different bosses around the map. Once you install this mod, you're going to have a bunch of different quests, and it's kind of making it seem like you're a bounty hunter and you have to go find all these different bosses. And of course, since you are a bounty hunter, you're going to get a reward of 250 gold for each and every one of them. It's actually pretty cool. They all have like a little bit of a story behind them. For example, the one I'm taking down is Carr the Silver Sentinel. He was supposed to be a Nord clan head and basically has a bunch of plate armor on, etc., Some of these are more powerful, and I actually really like the range here. You're going to have some elves, you're going to have some Nords, as you could tell, but then you'll also have some knights and some mages as well. So definitely a pretty good variety of what you're going to be taking on. All around, I actually really like mods like this. I feel like this mod especially, it's very well balanced. Like, yes, taking down these bosses are a challenge, but I actually think it's quite a bit of fun, and there's definitely a reward there for you. It especially gives you something to do if, let's say, you know, you're just tired of questing and you just want a good fight on your hands. Well, this is definitely going to be one of those ways to get it, especially if you use one of the combat overhaul mods. As you can see, this fight I definitely snowball. I get a few good hits on him and he's definitely much weaker and suddenly can't block as much, and there you go, I do have an easy win in my hand. So next up we have Blackthorn. So this is a pretty cool mod. Basically it's going to add in this little kind of desolate settlement. It's supposed to be like a farm settlement that was completely destroyed. There's a little bit of lore and backstory behind it, but I'll let you guys read that on your own. You'll find it in some of the various traders. But what this mod basically allows you to do is rebuild this town using kind of a hearthfire setup, except you're going to be able to, well, rebuild all the buildings. So there are a lot of different buildings. You could really make this kind of like a sprawling city if you have the gold to do so. But basically, again, the way it's going to work is you'll go into the trader, rebuild whatever buildings you want to. In this one I do the barracks and the manor, so it's going to be a player home and of course a barracks for guards. Then as you walk out, you'll see those buildings are now totally rebuilt. Then if you go inside either of those, you're going to find another little crafting table where you're going to be able to, in a hearthfire setting, place different things around there, or even do some like custom things like hiring guards and stuff like that. All around, there is a lot of time you could dump into this. A lot of these things do give you different ways to make money or just protect your town. This is definitely one of those mods that you're going to find yourself getting immersed forced into. You're going to spend a lot of hours trying to build up your town, do quests to get different armors or mods or money to build up your town further, and it's actually really well laid out. I feel like the risk reward is pretty good, so like even though you're going to be spending a lot of time trying to build up your town, you could also build up your town and make a lot of money from it if you get to the later stages. All around, I find these types of mods very enjoyable. I always have for these games, so I definitely think this one's worth a download, and I actually really like it. Once you have like a finalized town, you could really have a good spot to live that you really can say, I made this myself. So the last mod we do have is a relatively simple one. It is called the Deadly Civil War. Basically, it's going to be the civil war in Skyrim between the Imperials and the Stormcloaks, and now as you travel to different cities or just travel around, you'll find these kind of large-scale battles between the two factions. That's pretty much all it does. There's no real quests or anything like that. It's just meant to make the game a little bit more interesting, and frankly, I feel like although you'll find those kind of small encounters with wolves or trolls or mammoths or whatever, this one, as you're traveling around and you see one of these battles going on, whichever side you're on, you could definitely jump in and try and make a difference, and I think it just makes things a lot more fun. That's gonna pretty much wrap it up for this episode though, guys. I do hope you enjoyed. As always, I thank you guys for watching, and if you do enjoy, I encourage you to consider subscribing. But with that, I'll see you all next time. Later.